Hello everyone, what is going on? I am Dylan Hamilton from C.A.R. Entertainment there, guys. And today we are going to be talking about HU1 business studies, and we're going to be talking about business objectives and corporate objectives today, guys. Last time out we talked about economies of scale. I said that we're going up on Sunday, it actually went out on the Saturday. This is going up on the Sunday, and then tomorrow we'll have a couple more business HU1 videos for you. Now, as you say, this is tailored toward the CA specification, although it will suit all our exam boards. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, business objectives then. The first thing about a business objective is a mission statement, and this is a short statement which defines the underlying aims and objectives of an organisation. A mission statement will give a sense of direction, help motivate members of an organisation, and assist with marketing of the organisation, and also shape the values essentially of an organisation as well. The usefulness of a mission statement, this can be a quite nice question if you get asked to talk about the benefits and drawbacks. So the benefits of a mission statement is that they can assist the management team to focus on the main purpose of the business. It will enable the management team to develop long-term plans for the business, and it also motivates staff within the business as it can act as a useful device in order to attract publicity for the business in a positive manner. So if they can see the positive manner being acted on, staff will also be motivated by that. You can tie these in and sort of they all relate to each other. But there are drawbacks, such as a mission statement can result in an inability of the management team to relate the mission statement to the actual decision-making process or the purpose of the business. But that's more of a problem with the management team than anything else. Another drawback is that negative publicity attracted will occur if the business fails to achieve the goals stated within the mission statement, as stakeholders are likely to have expectations about the extent to which a business will act in this manner. So aims then. Aims of a business will be determined by the purpose of the business, the size of the business, and the ownership of a business. The key terms you will need to know are a mission, which is an organisation to aim or long-term intentions, its ultimate purpose. This is different from mission statement. Business objectives as in general, which is just goals that must be achieved in order to realise the stated aims of an organisation, department, or individual. Then you have corporate objectives, which are goals of the whole organisation rather than of different elements of the organisation. And this is what a functional objective is. A functional objective is a goal of each functional area of a business, and it's designed to ensure that the business achieves its corporate objectives and thus its overall aim or mission. So, objectives then. Successful objectives will be quantifiable, challenging, attainable, and they should be understandable and easy to communicate with. And that's where you have your SMART objectives, and we'll come to that later. So you'll have different factors which determine objectives. So your first factor is the ownership. So if you have a small business, then the ultimate responsibility for decision making is the sole trader, it's the owner. But if you have a large business, then the responsibility is the board of directors. So there's more people. So basically, larger amount of people, the more likely your objectives might be financial, or because you'll have to pay shareholders and stuff like that there. So ownership is quite a big one. The second one is stakeholder power. So different stakeholder groups have different objectives. Then we have the third one, which is shareholders, which can come under ownership. And this is because they're motivated by profits, and so more objectives will be financially aimed. Then the fourth one is size. If you have a small business, then the satisfactory level of profit or break even will ensure survival. That's more of an aim for a small business. But a large business will want they have an objective or an aim of maintaining market share and securing growth. Your fifth point then is pressure groups, as a pressure group will yield sufficient power to influence a particular course of action. And then time scale, as objectives will change in the short term, as with the primary objective becoming the same. Survival in the short term, but growth in the long term. Then the seventh thing that will affect that is internal and external pressures. Internal pressure, because changes in personnel will likely to give a rise to internal pressure in respect of the decision to be taken in relation to a key business objective. But an external pressure would be more like a change in the external environment, which is brought about by the government, such as legislation might force a business to reevaluate the decision-making process in order to achieve key objectives. And then finally we have risk. So risk taking has revenues and profits gained from the sales of existing products in new market, but there might not be a chance of demand for products, and therefore the business will fail. Then you have risk avoiding. So this is in order to survive, you avoid taking risks, and you serve the needs of existing customers, securing satisfactory revenue and profit stream. So penultimately, the factor will affect culture. So this is the way things are done. People-centered, focus on meeting the needs of customers and staff, and competition-oriented focuses on meeting profits. We have an actual culture video that will come out eventually for you guys, and that will probably maybe tie this in better for you. And then finally, market share. So it's important to build market share in the short term with a long-term focus on maintaining growth in market share. You have long-term and short-term objectives, as should be stated. A short-term objective meaning that you prepare plans on key objectives which are achieved in a time frame referred to as operating plans, with internal or external environment meaning that short-term needs to be changed when it's impacting the long-term. And a long-term objective then is whenever you prepare plans summarising key objectives and achieved going forward into the future, referred to as strategic plans. So now we're going to talk about these SMART objectives. So what is SMART? They stand for specific, measurable, agreed or achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Specific, so it's clearly and easily defined. Measurable, so it's quantifiable, as we previously mentioned. Achievable, managers and subordinates will be involved. Realistic, so it can't be in conflict with other objectives, and in time, but it has to be on an explicit timescale. The business objectives will form the basis for decisions on strategy. And now we have different types of objectives, as we see here, and then we'll go on the hierarchy and conflict. So the types of objectives, number one is actually survival. So instead of factors affecting it, we're actually going to talk about the actual objectives themselves. So survival, and this will apply to new starts, so new companies, as they need to survive the early stages of trading. And then you also have existing businesses, so if there's a downturn in economic performance, they need to survive that. And takeover will ensure the survival of an existing business. Then you have profit maximization, which may mean all objectives are sacrificed. And then you have thirdly, growth, which is measured in sales quantities, revenues, profit levels, and market share. The achievement of growth can enhance the competitive position within an industry, and growth means that profits will be reinvested and shareholders will not receive dividends as high as expecting. The fourth type of objective is social responsibility, which can be proved to be an asset up to the community, and society will require a balance of responsible business practices and sound business decisions with strong ethics and morals, meaning profit maximization will not be achieved. You also have employee welfare, which is considering issues such as wages and salaries. Employee welfare will be achieved and can be costly, and employees will receive training used to this apply for other jobs with competitors. So that may be a drawback of it. Then you have corporate image. Good corporate image will generate interest from potential customers, but bad publicity, and customers will look for an alternative organization to meet their needs. And finally, you have concern for the environment, as customers will take into account environmental issues used by organizations to achieve a competitive advantage. The hierarchy of objectives in a business, I learned the diagram off of you, but the objectives will be set in financial terms, will include desired sales or profit, the rate of the growth, amount of cash generated, and the value of the business or dividends paid to shareholders. That's just a financial objective sort of thing. But know about that hierarchy of objectives. Just read off that that graph there, or that sort of diagram. So finally, we're going to talk about conflict. Conflict is a contradiction of ideas or objectives, which generally mean that one objective can't be achieved, or that it might be achievable at the expense of another related subsidiary objective. This may include business expansion versus higher short-term profit, as an increase in size and scale supported by managers, employees, suppliers, and local community for extra jobs and sales, but increased costs will lower overall profits in the short term, causing conflict with shareholders or owners. But in the long term, they're pleased to support, as it will increase overall value. Then you have job losses versus keeping jobs, as managers will make redundancies amongst the workforce, reducing wage costs supported by the business owners and managers. Employees in the local community and suppliers suffer from a reduction in businesses. This can be much like conflict between stakeholders, and you probably could relate these in a question like that as well. So now we're going to move on to corporate objectives. So now guys, we're actually going to talk about operational objectives. I mentioned it was corporate objectives in the past. They can come under operational objectives at the same time. So we're going to talk about operational objectives. We're going to go with the name operational objective. I think it's a better term for it. Essentially that they are non-financial objectives to start off with. So different strategies, you can define steps a business will take towards achieving the objectives, which will detail steps as well as the staff and resources needed to complete each aspect. A non-financial objective may include employee engagement and satisfaction, which will increase loyalty and morale, improving attendance and effort. Quality, as you sell more with a better reputation. Customer service, sell more as customers valued, and therefore repeat trade increases the reputation. And public relations, increase the business and stronger relationships by improving the image. So operational objectives, cost and volume targets. Cost and volume targets are a traditional measure in unit cost, with the average cost of producing a unit of the product. Objectives relating it are productivity and efficiency, unit cost per item, contribution per unit, and the number of items to produce. Then we have quality targets, such as scrap and defect rates, which are a measure of poor quality. Reliability, which is how often something goes wrong and average lifetime use, etc. Then you have customer satisfaction, which is measured by customer research, and the number of incidents of customer complaints. Finally, with customer loyalty, which is the percentage of repeat business. Moving on now, we're going to talk about efficiency and flexibility targets, which is looking at how effectively the assets of the business are being utilized and how responsive the business can be to short-term or unexpected changes in demand. The efficiency and flexibility targets will include labor productivity, output per time period, capacity utilization, and order lead times. And then finally, we're actually going to talk about environmental targets, which is when the business will face more stringent environmental legislation, such as their use of energy, proportion of production materials that are recycled, and compliance with waste disposal regulations and proportion of waste to landfill. And finally, supplies of raw materials from sustainable sources. I understand this has been quite long, guys, and the business objectives are one of the main topics, and it's very likely to come up. So hopefully the video has helped you in your understanding of it. I've been Dylan from C.A.R. Entertainment, and I will see you next time.